Let's kick shell!
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Over the past 30 years, they've appeared on TV, in movies, on clothes, toys, lunchboxes, and of course, video games. Turtle Mania was out of control when I was a kid, and I've been a fan ever since. It's at another high point these days, with an awesome animated series and a new movie on the way out, so releasing a video game tie-in makes sense. Mutants in Manhattan is the latest gaming venture for the Green Machine. Will it be totally radical, or will it leave me shell-shocked? Mutants in Manhattan was developed by Platinum Games, and it's out for the Xbox One, 360, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4. When I heard that Platinum Games was taking the helm in this Turtles endeavor, I was excited about what could be, since they have put out some of my favorite hack and slash and beat 'em ups of this generation with the Wonderful 101 and Bayonetta 2, so TMNT seems like the perfect fit for them. If you have any prior experience with the Turtles, which most people do in some capacity, you'll know the gist of what's going on in this game's story. 4 turtle brothers trained by a rat protect New York City from other mutants led by their master's rival and brain creatures from an alternate dimension. Nothing you haven't heard before, and Mutants in Manhattan sticks to this. Shredder and Krang are up to no good again, trying to take over the planet by opening a portal to Dimension X to unleash Krang's army. The Turtles try and stop their foes the only way they know how, with violence and sweet ninjutsu attacks. I would have liked to see something slightly different than the usual. It's just a bit lazy, a story that's been overdone, especially when there's so much more to the TMNT world than that. They could have pulled stories from the comic or any of the TV series, but it seems that they wanted it to be a grand save-the-world type story. It ends up falling flat in that department because you already know what the outcome will be. You control one of the 4 turtles in this hack and slash brawler. The computer AI controls the other 3 and will play differently according to one of 4 commands: an all-out attack, follow the player's lead, hang back and wait, or to protect the player. There are 10 levels total, and you start one by picking it from a list, and each are just named after the boss of the level, which again seems kinda lazy. You start the stage up and you fight through waves of a nice variety of classic TMNT enemies like foot soldiers, rockmen, robots, and Krang. You can use a mix of light and heavy attacks, a double jump, spin guard, and the ability to throw shuriken. I really like that you can grind on the rails because it'll help you get around faster, and because it lines up with the turtles being radical teenage dudes. However, I really don't like how they climb up the walls Spider-Man style. Each of the turtles will also have 4 different special ninjutsu attacks. These can be leveled up and swapped out, and you can buy more in the shop and change them after you complete a stage. Some of these attacks can be fun to look at, like Mikey's combo special, which makes all enemies start dancing until you hit them. Other specials seem to be really ineffective and waste one of the 4 slots you have, so it's necessary to try them all out and see what works best. After using a special, there's a cooldown period and you must wait to use it again. Unlike most other Turtles games, you can actually change your choice of turtle on the fly as often as you want. I would have liked this a lot more if each of the turtles played a bit different from one another, like have Raph be more powerful but slower and have a shorter range, or have Mikey be faster and weaker, but they all feel the same, with the only actual look of the attack being the difference. The combat feels okay, but it gets really repetitive very quickly. There are no combos you can learn, and enemies don't really present any challenge because later enemies only increase in health but not in their difficulty. You beat up a group of enemies and move on to the next. What gets really annoying is that after you dispatch a group of goons, April will chime in via radio and let you know where to go next, which I wouldn't mind, but it completely stops the gameplay in order to have the camera show the next destination or mission. It's extremely intrusive and breaks up the pace way too often. She will also let you know when you should use your T-Vision, which is like a heat vision that will show you enemy locations through walls. If they're colored yellow, you can execute a sneak attack on them, but if they turn red before you do so, they'll know your position and it'll be a standard fight. This seems like a tacked-on feature. It really doesn't see too much use, and when you do try to be sneaky, the computer AI will be seen and they will blow your chance. So you beat up a group of baddies and then move on to the next, and so on and so forth until you reach the boss. The usual suspects are here: Bebop, Rocksteady, Shredder, and Krang, but the boss fights suffer from the same problem of being just as monotonous as the brawling. They aren't challenging at all, and the only thing that extends the boss fights is the fact that they have 7 bars of full health. It's just padding the game out and doesn't make for a satisfying feeling when you do defeat them, because after 20 to 30 minutes in the level, you just think, finally, I'm done. It also doesn't help that most of the levels look the same. You're either in the city, the TCRI building, or the sewer, with varying degrees of rain or fire. If you do manage to die, one of your brothers can immediately revive you, or you can return to the lair and enter the pizza room. The goal here is to scarf down as much pizza as possible to gain back your health and return to battle. This is probably my favorite part, and it's a neat, silly addition. As I've said earlier, the Turtles have seen numerous updates to look and style. Some awesome, some awful. Mutants in Manhattan sits somewhere in the middle for me, which seems to be a common trait to this game. I like the look of the bosses a lot. They're extremely stylized, colorful, and intense. The Turtles themselves look pretty good too, but Raph is the clear winner in terms of looks. And unfortunately, my favorite Donnie looks slender and weird. The rough, sketchy comic look works nicely, and for the most part I dig it. But the backgrounds in the environment are sparse and blocky, and look like something out of the PS2 era, not PS4. Now, before this game was released, the devs said that there would be no local co-op, so that they could keep the game at 60 frames per second. To me, it's ludicrous to put graphics over an enjoyable couch co-op experience. This is TMNT. There are 4 turtles. I should at the very least be able to play locally with one other person. Even though the game is pretty bland, a second player would have made for a far more enjoyable experience. To top it off, the game isn't even 60 frames per second anyway, so what's the excuse? Did I mention most of the game is completely unremarkable? Nothing really shines through, and the music is no exception. I went back to listen to the soundtrack by itself, and it was all just heavy metal. I would have liked to hear something more fun and lighthearted, because that's how this version of the Turtles was trying to be presented. The voice acting is fair enough. Everyone sounds pretty much how you'd expect them to. Mikey like a surfer, Raph rude and sarcastic, Donnie a bit nasally and nerdy, and Leo, whatever his personality is. I will say that Master Splinter's voice was spot on, and it sounded like the actor from the first movie. But what's weird is they never really say any of their catchphrase. No pizza time, no go green machine, and really only one cowabunga I could think of. The game has these moments where the Turtles' personalities pop off the screen, like when they dance after a battle or Mikey cracking ill-timed jokes. But unfortunately, these are few and far between. Oftentimes, the game just goes through the motions with everything, from story, gameplay, to soundtrack. Mutants in Manhattan doesn't really excel at anything. Well, aside from being completely average. The entire time I was playing the game, I was just mindlessly mashing buttons waiting for it to be over. It never offered up a real challenge or a change of pace, so playing through a 5-hour campaign gets extremely tiresome. So should you play TMNT Mutants in Manhattan? No way, dude! Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time on It's All Fun and Games. But if you can't wait until then, why not click the link down below and see my review of River City Ransom? Or if you really like what I'm doing, hit the subscribe button.